Watching movies on the Quest 3 can scale from, oh that's cool, to I'm never buying IMAX tickets again after seeing this. So in this video, I'm gonna take you from the easiest possible way to watch movies on Quest 3 all the way to the absolute best quality setup, including the method where 3D movies finally look the way you hoped they would. That way, you can decide exactly what fits your needs best. Alright, let's start with the easiest possible option. You can do this in about 10 seconds, no downloads, no setup. Open the browser, log into something like Netflix, Apple TV, Disney Plus, whatever you use, and hit play. And here's the surprising part, this already works better than most people expect. You can grab the screen, resize it, curve it, move it to wherever you want, even stick it above if you've always wanted a TV on your ceiling. You can dim your surroundings to make it feel more like a theater, or keep your room visible if you're just casually watching something while doing other stuff. It's simple, flexible, and for a lot of people already good enough. But this is the convenience option. You're limited by the browser, the streaming service, and whatever quality they decide to give you. So once you want something cleaner or something that actually feels built for VR, this stops being the best option. So the next step up is using apps that are actually built for the Quest. The browser works, but it always feels like you're forcing a website into VR. These apps are where things actually start feeling native. And there are two main directions here. First, YouTube. The YouTube app just feels way more native. You've got all the controls you'd expect, everything is smoother, and most importantly, this is where you start getting content that actually makes sense in VR. Things like 180 and 360 videos where you're not just watching a screen, you're inside the content. This is the first point where the Quest stops feeling like a screen and starts feeling like a headset. Then you've got native streaming apps like Disney Plus or Amazon Prime. These are cleaner than the browser, more direct, and just less janky overall. Now, not every service has a great Quest app, so the browser is still your fallback, but when a native app exists, it's usually the better experience. For most people, this is where you stop. Simple, clean, and good enough. But up to this point, you're still just watching a screen, and none of these offer 3D options, except maybe YouTube, but you won't find blockbusters there, and even if you do, the quality is pretty bad. The next level is where it actually starts feeling like going to the movies. This is where apps like Big Screen come in. Instead of just watching something by yourself, you're suddenly sitting in a full virtual cinema, with other people or with your friends in these massive environments. You can jump into public rooms, host your own private movie nights, switch seats, try different environments. It genuinely feels like going to the movies just without leaving your house. And yeah, you will get distracted looking around instead of watching the movie. Like, this is the first time where you forget you're just sitting in your room. And you can watch 3D movies in here too, which is really cool. But this is important. This is about the experience and simplicity, not pure quality. Because you're still streaming most of the time, which means compression, variability, and not always the cleanest image. So this is easily the most fun option so far, but not the best looking one. And this is where we hit a turning point. And speaking of actually being inside the movie, this video is sponsored by The Boys Trigger Warning, developed by Arvor Immersive Games, which basically flips the idea completely on its head. Instead of just watching something in VR, you're in it. You play as a regular dad who suddenly gets telekinetic powers. And yeah, things go exactly as badly as you'd expect in the Boys universe. You can go full stealth, sneak through levels, move objects around, or just completely lose it and start throwing people across the room. And the powers are of course the fun part. Grabbing enemies, teleporting, using Temp V to unlock new abilities. It feels way more physical than you'd expect and nails those action movie vibes. Plus, you've got characters from the show with the original voice actors, so it really feels like you're inside that world. So yeah, whether you like The Boys, the TV show, or just want something a bit more chaotic than just watching movies, definitely check it out at the link in the description. Thanks Arvor for sponsoring this segment. Now let's get back to the elite tier of watching movies on your Quest 3. Cause so far you've gotten easy and more social ways to watch movies on Quest 3. Honestly, if you stop here, you're already getting a great experience. But if you actually care about image quality, especially for 3D, this is where the casual options stop and where things start getting a bit more serious. Because from here on out, we're getting into the setups that actually push the Quest 3 to its limits. So now we move on to what I'd call the Enthusiast tier. This is where you stop relying entirely on streaming services and start using your own movie collection that you've obtained 100% legally.
You got me.
One of the simplest and most popular ways to do this is through something like Virtual Desktop. This lets you stream your PC directly into your headset, including any video files you have, and watch them on a massive virtual screen within the dedicated video player NVD. And the big difference here is control. You're no longer stuck with whatever version of a movie a streaming service gives you. If you have a higher quality file, you can actually watch that higher quality version, which already puts this a step above most of the earlier options. But unfortunately, the desktop streaming quality in Virtual Desktop is much lower bitrate than the game streaming feature, for which I absolutely love VD. So for movies, it's good, but far from max quality tier. It also doesn't allow you to play ISO files directly, so you'd need to convert them first, and ain't nobody got time for that. So it's not the most direct way to do this. And while this is a big upgrade, it's still not the final boss. If you want the best possible quality on Quest 3, this is it. Watching your own movie files directly on the headset. No joke, this can look better than IMAX with one of these totally free 80 gig movie files. I've got two apps to recommend for you here, and each offers two options of playing your movies. The two apps I'd recommend are Skybox VR and 4X VR. Now both are paid, but you can get a discount using the links in the description, as well as support me and the channel by doing so. Win-win. Now let's talk about why each of these apps has strong points but also some drawbacks. With Skybox VR, it's the cheaper option, and using code VRM at checkout or clicking the link below makes it even cheaper. It can play both regular and 3D movies at very good quality, either by using their free PC companion app if you want to wirelessly stream it directly from your PC over your local network, or by simply plugging in a USB stick or SSD directly into your headset. But like Virtual Desktop, it doesn't support ISO files without conversion. So if that's how you have your movies stored, then that's where 4X VR comes into play. It also supports full quality playback both wirelessly and from a USB device. But this time it can also do ISO natively, so simply click on your ISO file and it starts playing within seconds. But nothing comes without downsides, so with 4X VR, it's the fact that while the app itself is free to download, if you want to squeeze max quality out of your Blu-rays, then you'll have to get the premium version. Thankfully, this is a one-time payment, and you can use my discount code on it as well if you want to help out. Won't cost you a dime more. This is where everything clicks. This is the version of VR movie watching people think they're getting when they first buy the headset, but usually aren't. Because now you've got full control: the file, the format, the playback, the environment. And most importantly, this is where 3D movies finally look the way you hoped they would. Instead of a compressed stream over the internet, you're getting the full quality version with proper depth, clarity, and no artifacts. This is the point where you stop thinking this is a cool feature and start thinking, okay, this could actually replace my TV. It's obviously a bit more effort, but if you care about quality above everything else, this is the end game. So here's how I think about it. If you just want the easiest possible way to watch something, use the browser. If you want a cleaner, more app-like experience, go with YouTube or native apps when they exist. If you want that social movie night feeling, big screen is the move. And if you've got your own movie collection on a PC, Virtual Desktop is a great setup. Finally, if you want the absolute best quality possible, especially for 3D movies, local playback with something like Skybox or 4X VR is the final boss. Most people will probably go with the simplest options and enjoy those. But if you're like me, you're probably going all the way. It really just depends on how far you want to go. And now it's time to decide if you want to go further by watching one of these videos, or stop here and go try out a movie on your Quest 3. Either way, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys!